The Gateway Policy. Chancellor Thorne had called it, her voice a soothing balm over the national airwaves, a humanitarian initiative, a grand gesture of global solidarity. Waves of migrants from the distant, shattered nation of Xylos began to arrive. They were quiet, industrious, and, as Thorne frequently reminded the populace, desperately in need of a new beginning. Alara, a retired archivist with a memory like a vault and a healthy distrust of political euphemisms, watched it unfold from her small apartment overlooking the bustling capital. At first, she merely noted the speed of their processing, the sudden abundance of state-sponsored housing, and the unusual fluency of many newcomers in Ethelgard's complex language. Then came the jobs. Connect Logistics, a newly formed government-backed delivery service, quickly became ubiquitous. Its dark gray vans, sleek and silent on electric engines, wove through every street, delivering packages, groceries, and services with an efficiency that bordered on prescience. The drivers, all from Xylos, were known as skymarkers, a strange, almost ethereal term, given their mundane profession. Alara started noticing things. The skymarkers, despite the GPS devices fixed to their dashboards, seemed to possess an innate knowledge of the city's labyrinthine alleys and forgotten shortcuts. They never asked for directions. Their eyes, she observed from her window as they paused for deliveries, weren't fixed on the package label, but on the house itself. They took in the garden gnomes, the paint chipping on a window frame, the color of the curtains, and, most notably, the flags. Ethelgard's national flag, a defiant splash of crimson and gold, had seen a resurgence in recent years, a quiet protest against the creeping globalization, a simple statement of pride. Now Alara saw the skymarkers pause longer at homes displaying it. Their gaze was cool, analytical, devoid of curiosity or malice, yet intensely focused. Her old friend Thomas, a retired engineer notorious for his booming laugh and his collection of Ethelgardian battle standards, was one such target. Thomas had flown the largest flag in their district, a magnificent banner that billowed proudly from a pole in his front yard. One day, a Connect Logistics van idled outside his house for an unusually long time. The driver, a lean man with sharp, intelligent eyes, made no delivery. He simply watched. Weeks later, Thomas complained to Alara, "Packages are getting lost. Alara, my new prosthetic knee brace, gone. My prescription, delivered to the wrong house. My internet keeps cutting out. Only my house, mind you." He looked genuinely bewildered. "It's like they've got a personal vendetta against my postcode." Ilara's instincts screamed. She'd read enough history to recognize the early tremors of something far more sinister than a delivery mix-up. The government, through Chancellor Thorne, consistently praised Connect Logistics, hailing it as a model of integration, innovation, and economic stimulus. She even saw reports of specialized training courses for skymarker teams, not just driving, but urban navigation and community engagement, complete with advanced communication devices and personal protective equipment. Alara shuddered. Personal protective equipment for delivering groceries. She tried to voice her concerns. A letter to her local councillor went unanswered. A call to a national newspaper was met with polite disinterest and an automated email about conspiracy theories. The official narrative was unshakable. The skymarkers were a boon. Then came the neighborhood watch initiatives. Connect Logistics drivers, it was announced, would now be working closely with local authorities to help identify problem areas and disruptive elements. This was the arming Alara realized with a cold dread. Not with guns, not yet, but with information, with state-sanctioned surveillance, and with the implicit authority to act. The targets became clearer. People who wrote scathing letters to the editor about Thorne's policies, activists who organized protests against the new national budget, even online commentators who simply voiced objections to the Gateway Policy saw their Connect Logistics deliveries falter, their services interrupted, their homes subjected to random inspections for building code violations. Thomas's flag, once so vibrant, was no longer flying. Alara called him. His voice, usually so hearty, was subdued. Just decided it was time for a change. Less clutter. Alara heard the unspoken fear, the surrender. One evening, Alara was watching as another Connect Logistics van pulled up. It stopped, not at her building but across the street, in front of the empty house of a former schoolteacher who had been particularly vocal on a talk radio show about the erosion of Ethelgardian culture. The driver, the same lean man Alara had observed earlier, stepped out. He didn't have a package. Instead, he pulled a small high-tech device from his belt. He pointed it at the house, a brief flash of light, imperceptible to the casual eye. Then he got back in, and the silent van glided away. Alara knew. They weren't just learning the routes. They were mapping the spirit of the nation, pinpointing the heartbeats of dissent, the pockets of national pride, the very individuals who embodied Ethelgard's identity. The government hadn't merely welcomed an enemy. They had provided the intelligence, the logistics, and the cover for an insidious bloodless invasion. The delivery vans were the Trojan horses, and inside, armed with data and government sanction, were the scouts for the inevitable takeover. The national flag, which still flew grandly above the central parliament building, seemed to Alara like a monument to a forgotten nation, a solemn shroud draped over a country already laid to rest. She watched the silent Connect logistics vans, now an ever-present ominous part of the urban landscape, and knew that the packages they truly delivered were not goods, but the slow, methodical dismantling of Ethelgard itself.